Teachers. What's the weirdest thing you've had to take away from a student? Eyeballs. I worked with a blind student with autism. When he would get angry, he would pop out his glass eyeballs and throw them across the room. They were expensive, so Mom asked that we put them in a plastic bag in his backpack if he threw them. No more eyeballs for you today. My grandpa had a glass eye. He would rub it and exclaim, "I think I've got something in my eye." Pop it out and say, "Can you check for me?" while thrusting it toward you. There was a boy in my 7th grade class that wasn't allowed to have coins because he'd eat them. Jingle 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 jingle. Him taking a dump must have sounded like a slot machine paying out. Undefined. Not a teacher but a friend of a teacher. A letter to his other friend about how he once masturbated in class. They are extremely awkward now. Yup, incredibly strange that kids use letters these days. Texts would make much more sense. Letters can be burned. Chef's knife stuffed in the waistband of his sweatpants, no underwear during a snowstorm. In case he was attacked by a polar bear? I don't recall exactly, but that very well might have been it. Seriously. Alaska? No. Colorado? Not _real_ polar bears. This student. I don't remember his exact DSM diagnosis. I don't think it was schizophrenic. I can't recall. He was almost always really nice and a gentle soul. Albeit he'd say weird things. On rare occasions he would show a little different side. That morning was him showing one of those different sides. Christmas ornaments. They were throwing them at each other and it eventually caused a fight. Next to that would be a curtain rod. He found it and kept hitting people with it. Bonk. An entire menagerie of live insects. One afternoon my class decided that they should see how many bugs they could capture and keep alive in my classroom. The next day, I returned from covering lunch duty in another part of the school and noticed that one of the cubbies had paper towel taped over the front like a curtain. Before I could investigate, I noticed several Tupperware containers hiding in desks. Dozens of worms, that was the cubby. Many assorted beetles. Uncounted ants. 4 bees. A wasp. And, most upsetting, several flies which were crazy glued to index cards and had their wings removed. That was a long day in a long year. How TF did they safely catch a wasp? Was it loose in the room? It was a rural country school. There's always at least 2 kids in every country school that have magic animal soothing powers. I see. I'm from a rural town. I'm quite the chicken whisperer. I'll let the hens catch a wasp. A small trinket box about palm-sized. Decorated with gems and glitter. With a live mouse inside. The mouse was named Jimmy and had been caught in the child's house. Free my man Jimmy. He didn't know nothing wrong. Instant pudding. My student was mixing it in a large Cool Whip container. Using milk from lunch. Right in the middle of a lesson on Macbeth. They were making their own witch's brew. My sister's teacher had to call my dad about a suspicious powder my sister was eating out of a bag at school. She was dipping her finger in a bag of powdered jello and eating it and letting other kids do the same. In a somewhat similar vein, a dumb trend went around my school that consisted of kids violently snorting dib-dab powder sherbet, then proceeding to scream in pain when they had a nosebleed and slash or pretend they were hot. This was an all-girls school. Don't ever let the boys cool girls boring memes fool you. We also do dumb speep. This is my brother's story. And he was the kid. It was a sandwich bag full of spiders. He collected them during recess. And one of the monitors probably got freaked out. First thing that came to mind, a drawing of a peanut. One kid said he had a peanut allergy. So a boy drew a peanut on a piece of paper. And started shoving it in the other boy's face and being a general dick with it. Boom. Roasted. Dry roasted. Obligatory, not a teacher. I'm an EA, educational assistant in a school. Plastic spoons. Hundreds of them. I still don't know why. But one grade 5 kid came to school with his backpack stuffed full. Nothing else was in his backpack. Not even his lunch. He hung it on the back of the chair and pulled out a spoon and was fiddling around with it instead of doing work. So I took the spoon away. 10 minutes later he has another one. I took that. 10 more minutes, a third. The teacher took it away. 10 minutes later, can see the pattern here. I finally opened his backpack when I saw him grab the 6th or 7th spoon. And the bag was full. Obviously the teacher had to call home since he had no lunch. Mom comes. Looks at him with goes "What?" as she hands him his lunch. He shrugged. Grinned. And walked back to class. Mom is clearly used to it and has learned to go with the flow. If I had a nickel for every time a worrying amount of plastic spoons was confiscated from a 5th grader in this post, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, it's just weird that it happened twice. Just don't give that one kid the nickels as he eats them. A whole salami. Kid kept walking over to his backpack and sticking his face in to take secret bites without me noticing. I noticed. This one is the funniest to me because it is just such a kid thing to do. Kid thing? I'm in college and I'd totally do this. A flavored condom. From a kindergartner. This little boy comes into music class at 1:00 p.m. or so. And he's been at school since 9:00 and says to me, "Look. I have a candy." And holds up a wrapped strawberry flavored condom. Trying to cause a scene. I tell him, "Remember, we're not going to eat in music class because it's hard to sing with candy in our mouths." I pointed out the pocket on his jean jacket with a snap button closure and tell him to put it in there. Making a mental note to tell teacher later. I always try to avoid losing control of a room of 20 and 5-6-year-olds. Kid puts condom in his pocket. And I start music class. Later on, I see him putting something in his mouth. Put that back in your pocket for after school or something to that effect. Pretty sure food is scarce at home, to taking it away would have been a huge scene. Teacher comes at the end of the half-hour lesson and I discreetly tell her what's going on and she says she'll handle it. Great. After school. The middle-aged male school counselor comes up to me and says, "Thanks to you I've been walking around an elementary school all afternoon with a flavored condom in my pocket." Sorry, not sorry. Undefined. Why would he keep it in his pocket, lol? Because it's less weird than putting it on? Less likely to be caught with it on though. A wine cooler that looked like a Capri Sun. This was a 2nd grader and she was just getting ready to drink it. Meanwhile mom is just sneak sipping on a Capri Sun at work when reality hits her. I saw a tweet like 2 years ago saying someone's dad was drinking a White Claw every day on his way into work because he thought it was another seltzer brand like LaCroix. Growing up I used to think Mike's Hard Lemonade was a really badass lemonade. Handcuffs. From an 8-year-old girl. Not quite police grade. But more than just some adult fun cuffs. Sent that down to the counselor. We had a 5th grade student of a police officer cuff his friend to the play structure on the playground a few years back. Had to call the campus cop over to figure it out. Poor lad didn't look any worse for wear. Just had to chill alone outside for a bit while his friends got back to class. Read it as he was out there for a few years and was very concerned how nobody cared undefined. A girl had about 50 plastic spoons in her pocket. She tripped and they all fell out. We all found it hilarious, but a high-up teacher was walking by and made her pick them up. She was going to anyway and put them all in the bin. He was probably very confused over the whole situation. Why would she even have them LMFAO, and that many too? A kid brought blue Gatorade in a Windex bottle to lunch on April Fool's Day, and we had to take it so younger kids wouldn't think it was real. Thank you so much for the awards and upvotes. I never expected this. Better than my friend who always had a bottle of mouthwash that was actually just vodka with food coloring. Then in college there was the girl with the Starbucks cup of wine. Vodka in a water bottle. My school makes us use clear bottles so they can tell if there is anything other than water in it, but what difference is that gonna make if it's vodka, lol.
Hey guys, if you like this video then smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more contents like this. And don't forget to press that bell icon to get notified for future videos. Thanks for watching. Click here to see more videos.